Hello, hello. Hello, hello. How are you? I'm gonna see if I can do this on Facebook too. Let me see. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. Surviving versus thriving. So this is something that came to me, and I realized this a while ago through all of the different things that I, was struggling with, especially grief, right? So, the one thing that, hello, that came to me is, am I surviving or am I thriving? And sometimes we don't realize that we be whole in survival mode, and a lot of the things that we do and how we respond to things is not the core of who we are. It is just that we've been conditioned to be a certain way based on the things that have happened to us. So I kind of wanted to talk about this topic tonight. Let me see. So is the pain of what you've been through, it like, hold on, I'm trying to go live on Facebook too. Let me see. So, is it really the pain that you've been through, or is it really you? When you're in survival mode, you are really conditioned to react to certain things, right? Hello. And so that means that you could be guarded, you can be headstrong, mean, emotional, and it's not at the very core of who you are. You're just used to responding a certain way because of the things that you've been through. And I realized that a lot of times we just are reacting to those situations. Like, it's almost like being triggered. So let's just say, and I'm gonna give an example. You've been on dates or whatever, and you realize that these people are just here just for the date, right? A lot of men have told me that, like, women just decide that they're going to go on a date with them just, for the company or for the food or whatever the case may be, but not really because they want to get to know them. And so, once you have experienced a lot of that, you like, I ain't about to take nobody else out. I'm not about to put no effort in because these people really not here for me. They're not trying to get to know me. They not trying to do anything. And so your instinct is automatically to put up a defense. So the next person you meet, they might be genuine, but you don't know. You don't even give them a chance because you've been conditioned to not even care because people have shown you that they don't care. So that's just an example. But many people don't even realize that they've been conditioned to be this way. And using phrases, many of us, because I'm guilty of this, I've done this in the past too, like, I've always been this way. But that's not the truth. When you think back before you experience pain, heartbreak, disappointments, was this really you? Like, was you nonchalant? Were you mean? Were you emotional? Were you, hard? Were you like, I ain't about to deal with that. I'm not about to, talk to these people. I'm not about to fool with this. Like, were you just no nonsense? Probably not. But this is something that happens through conditioning, through being, disappointed, being heartbroken. And so it's a defense mechanism. so that we don't allow ourselves to feel that hurt again. So I'm going to give some more examples. Do you self-sabotage? Intentionally run people off? Hurt people before they hurt you? Always think of the worst outcome? Do you run at the first sight of trouble with disagreements? Do you physically leave or do you ghost people? What else? Do you consistently think of something that comes off as perfect? It has to be wrong. Like this just couldn't be. This person couldn't possibly love me. This situation can't possibly go the way that I want it to go. These are all survival tactics. And the thought process which leads you to hurting other people and making them suffer for what you've been through. So my question is, ask yourself, is it truly working? Is you being in survival mode truly working? Is it working for the place that you want to go? Is it working for the life that you want to have, the love that you want to have? Is it really working? And when you actually think about it, probably not. It's probably not working. So my message in my conversation tonight is, it's time for you to thrive. It is time for you to thrive. It's time for you to get clear on those things that put you in survival mode, the things that no longer serves you, those things that don't serve a purpose in your life. They're not meant to, help you, but delay you. So, and it's delaying you from where you truly want to be. And you keep repeating these cycles of behaviors over and over again because you've been conditioned to do it and it's not at your very core. So I'm just going to give my own personal experiences and you all can chime in if you would like. So personally, because I've gone through certain things in my life, and I talked about this stuff on my YouTube channel, Crown Convos with Tiana and Michelle. You can go over there and see previous conversations about different conversations that I've, in different situations that I've been through. But those of you who are on here that have, that have, listen to the conversations that I've had before about what I've been through, but I've always, for as long as I can remember in my dating relationships or even friendships or just relationships in general, I didn't allow people to get close to me. Because in my mind, I always thought like, okay, they're not here for good intentions. They'll only be here to hurt you. And that was my survival tactic. If someone got close to me and I felt like they was getting too close, I would disappear. I'd be like, peace out. I don't want to do this because this is too much. And so I realized that was me just being in survival mode. Like I was just trying to protect myself from, possibly getting hurt, not allowing people to actually get a chance. Like I would date people and not be 100% invested emotionally because I was in survival mode. And this is some things that I've actually worked through. So I'm a different version of myself, but sometimes you have to have these come to Jesus meetings with yourself to say, okay, is whatever it is working? Like, what I'm doing, is that working? Is it beneficial to me, my growth, my development, for my goals, the places that I want to go, the things that I want out of life? Is it really working? Is this healthy? And I realized that the way that I was going about things was completely wrong, because even I was I was ghosting. Like, I would talk to somebody and then I'd be like, all right, I'm not calling them back. I'm not doing any of that, because I had that flight. I had the I had the runaway bride syndrome, the flight syndrome, the things get too emotional, I would just leave. So all of these things that I'm saying is part of my own journey, but I realized in talking to other people, they have the same challenge, or they're going through the same epiphany. And so the other thing that I want, us to consider is that when we have been hurt, we think about what the person has done to us, but we never really truly consider if the people that have hurt us are in the same mode we're in. Are they surviving? Do they have a scarcity mindset? Have they been through traumas and pains and all these different things? Like, we never analyze the other person. We always look at what they've done to us. And sometimes people can only do what they're conditioned to do, just like you're doing it or I've done it. Like, we only do what we have the capacity to do. So think about this. When someone has let you down or disappointed you, think about the possibility of maybe they can only give you what they have. Maybe, they can only love the way that they know how to love. And there are some people that don't even love themselves. So if they don't love themselves, then how can they love you in return? It's not possible. It's not possible at all. And then you have people that are so empty on the inside. They just going through the emotions of dating, relationships. And these could be relationships and with their kids, with their family members. They just going through the motions, and they're not allowing the relationship to happen organically, to be invested, to be there, to, actually get to know and be in relationship with those people. A lot of times people that are in survival mode don't do that because they don't feel complete on the inside. So they're in survival mode just like you're in survival mode. So the one thing that I want us to do is to take time to recognize. Now, mind you, I've done this. So this is something that I've done and I still do. I practice this on a regular basis because I analyze myself. But it's time to recognize those hurt feelings, your disappointments, because it is not your destiny. It's not the final say. And we're going to go through stuff. As long as you live, you're going to go through things. You're going to be disappointed. People will let you down. That's just a given. Anytime you have a relationship with anybody, your parents, aunts, uncles, kids, brother, sister, people in general will let you down because nobody is perfect. We are all imperfect people. So we naturally will let other people down, but we do not have to hurt someone the way that we've been hurt. And so realizing those feelings of disappointment and having the opportunity to heal, giving yourself the opportunity to heal from whatever the pain is, and understanding who you are at your core, understanding the things that you have been through, and realizing like maybe some of the stuff that I did was kind of toxic, because I know there's some stuff that I did that was like toxic. And once you come to that realization, because everybody doesn't have that realization, because everybody doesn't analyze themselves. You have so many people that are walking around that are emotionally disconnected. So if you're not connected with your emotions, you're not going to realize this. But realizing your own dysfunction helps you to correct what you've done, correct like your behaviors in the future, helps you to understand, okay, you know what, I did this in response to this. Like maybe I blew up at this person because what they said to me made me feel insecure, because such and such back 2-3 years ago made this same statement or said something that was close to it that kind of triggered something for me. So maybe I need to take a step back and actually think about what I'm doing or what's going on with me emotionally. Maybe I'm not all the way together like I thought I was. And it's fine to be that way. But find out who you are at your core. And it's very important to do this so that you can operate from a place that's thriving, so you can be open, you know, to new opportunities, to love, to getting the things that you really want. So my message to you is it's time to get out of survival mode and it's time for you to thrive. So how do you get there? Hello. I jotted down a few things that I had to do. And when I tell you, it's been a freeing experience. It has definitely been a freeing experience. Recognizing the things that actually hurt you. So that means what? You got to do the work. Like you got to think about, hello. You have to think about what were the situations that hurt you. Maybe it was some stuff from your childhood. Maybe it was stuff from adulthood. Maybe it was a series of bad relationships. Maybe it was a bad relationship with your dad, your mom, your siblings. Maybe you don't know your family. Maybe it's a compilation of a lot of things. Maybe you didn't get the job opportunity that you thought you should have had. Maybe you didn't accomplish the goals that you thought you would have had. Maybe you didn't get married when you said you were, or had kids when you thought you were. Maybe you're not earning the type of money you thought you would earn. It could be a whole lot of different things, right? But recognizing those things and then deciding that it's time to do the work to set yourself free, because those disappointments are a part of your process, your story, and it's there to make you stronger and realize that you can overcome any situation. When you realize that that whole situation, whatever it is, was sent there to help you to get through anything. Sometimes we're sent through stuff, and I just had this conversation with somebody. Sometimes we're sent through some really hard situations so that we can realize who the heck we are. Like, sometimes we drug through the mud, the dirt, and go through situation after situation so we can really hone in to who we really are. And instead of paying attention to the pain or the trauma or the whatever it is, it's time to rechannel your energy, rechannel your thoughts, and to think about, if I got through that situation, I'm a beast. I can get through anything. Like, I can do anything. I can get whatever I want. There are no limitations on anything that I can do or be because I got through that. Once we recognize that, baby, there will be no stopping you. So you have to decide to set yourself free from those depressing thoughts that will try to attack you and get you down and make you feel like, oh, you know, maybe I'm not worthy enough. Maybe I'm not competent enough. Maybe, you know, I'm not qualified enough. Whatever those thoughts are. So once you have identified that you're ready to do the work, then identify whether you need supports like counseling, hello, like, or are you gonna go it alone? I did both. There was a portion where I used counseling. There was a portion where I was like, nah, this not gonna work because they not digging deep enough. Like, I need, I need to go deeper than what they talking about. Like, I gotta do some heavy lifting. So let me do what I need to do so that I can get on the other side of this thing, so that I can be emotionally healthy, so that I can be stable mentally. A lot of times that stuff, I will say this, a lot of ailments that we deal with, physical pain, is tied to the things that we feel emotionally. It's tied to the pain and the stress that we have allowed ourselves to be bound by. And because we have not let go of those things, it has really taken a toll on us. And a lot of times we don't even realize that. We be feeling aches and pains, they come out of left field, and we like, oh, you know, maybe I did this wrong. But no, you're carrying emotional baggage. You are bound by some things that you have not let go, you know, and it's time to let that go. It's time to let it go so that you can get complete healing. You will feel a lot better physically. You will have a lot more energy. You will be a lot more healthier mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. You will, I'm telling you, that those things, man, that baggage, that stuff be a beast, and we don't even be knowing. Like, we don't know. We just going around like, okay, everything is fine, but it's really not. Because in the back of our minds, we still dealing with stuff, but we never put the pieces together to be like, okay, is this something that triggers something else? Or is this something that has me, you know, really feeling like I'm not myself? Like, am I really locked up on the inside so much that I'm like, I can't get out of bed, or I can't, you know, move, or, you know, I'm having all of these aches and pains, chest pains, heart issues. A lot of that stuff is tied to stuff we have not let go. So the next step is to forgive. And I know this is a tough one. It's such a tough one. Hello. Forgiveness is hard. I am not gonna lie. I have learned to be forgiving within the last 7 years of my life. I'm 37. Yeah, I have learned how to forgive. Because the forgiveness is really, and I know it sounds so cliche because people say it all the time, forgiveness is, you know, it's not for the other person, it's for you. But yo, for real, it really is. Like, when you forgive some stuff and you let that stuff go, you gonna feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulder. Now, I'm not saying you excusing the person's behavior. You're not. You just saying, you know what? I forgive you for not completely loving me the way that I need to be loved. I forgive you for whatever the pain is you inflicted on me. I forgive you for not being there as a parent. I forgive you for whatever it is. You fill in your blanks. and you say that and you let it go and you give it to God. When I tell you, you will feel a release that is so, it's so awesome. That's all I have to say. You will feel that release. You're not gonna feel it immediately. Immediately, you probably gonna be like, yeah, I said that, but I still feel some type of way. That's the real, right? That's the real of it. But when you start to be like, you know what? I'm not going to let those situations, I'm not going to let that person tie me up no more, live in my head rent free. I'm not going to allow that anymore. I'm going to move forward and do what I need to do for me. Man, you will find out. This is another lesson I learned. God will get them people together for you. Like, you ain't even you don't have to pay nobody back. You don't have to do nothing. Once you say that, it's almost like giving it over to God, and he's like, okay, I got it from here. And you will see other people's lives falling apart. I have seen that. I have actually seen that, where people have done things to me and they be jacked up after I'm like, I forgive you, and I let it go. I don't retaliate. Now, when you retaliate, just know you got to get that back. Whatever you put out there, it's got to come back. So I always remember that. If you're one of them people that has to, go after that person, I've learned to let God fight my battles for me. Hello. So I don't even have to do all that. I just be like, okay, I forgive you. You wasn't in the right space. Okay, cool. No love lost. I'm going to go about my business. It was nice while it lasted. Maybe it wasn't. Have a good one. And I'm going about my business. And then I find out that those same people, God is sending them through some stuff, because you cannot mistreat God's people. Like, you cannot. It just does not work out. It's just not a good situation. So people just really need to really get complete healing, because it's true that hurt people. It is really true. So, but you're hurting other people out of being in survival mode. So I know that, thinking about how other people feel is not on most people's minds or agenda, because we're all conditioned to think about self. That's something that's like our innate ability. We just think about ourselves. But sometimes you got to stop and be like, how's this person really operating? Was this really them? Or was this them, in survival mode? Because I know how I was. I know what I did when I was in that mode, and I was nothing nice. So I have learned to look at other people's perspectives and situations, and I'm like, okay, they going through some stuff. I'm going to back up, let them figure out what they need to do for them. No love lost. So the next thing that I will say is, once you decide to release that, now you have to figure out who you really are. And when I say this, it's time to spend time with you. It's time to do for you and realize, okay, now that I've forgiven that person, now that I've released it, now that I'm like, okay, I can't be this person anymore. Now it's time to spend time with you and figure out who you are at your core. Like, who was the person that you were before all these things start happening? It might take you some time to sit down and figure that out, especially, if you like my age, like 37, it's been some years. But you might have to sit down and really think about that. Like, who am I? Like, what are the things that I like? What are the things that brings me joy? What are the things that I've always wanted to do? What are the things that I've been through, but what was my response to those things? And how can I change those negative things, those negative things that I've done into positive thoughts? How can I address my pain and turn it into a positive? Because once you start thinking like that, your mindset will begin to change. Like, once you start doing this on a consistent basis, because like I said, this is ongoing work. This is not something that's just gonna happen overnight, because you didn't get that way overnight. Like, I wasn't that way overnight. So there's nothing that happens overnight. It's going to take some work. You're going to have to really sit down. I would even say journal this stuff, so that you can see your own progress. Journaling is a good way to see your progress. I'm a person, I got a ton of journals, notebooks, and I write a whole lot of stuff down. From my thoughts to my goals to my whatever. Like, I write a lot of stuff down. So even my affirmations, because I do affirmations, I know that hello, some of you all have seen that I put up affirmations. This is stuff that I actually do, and it actually has helped me. And I didn't used to think that. Like, when I used to look at other people and they would say they were doing affirmations, I used to be like, okay, whatever. But yo, for real, them affirmations help a lot, because it helps with your confidence. It helps your mindset. It helps for you to change those negative thoughts, because you're feeding yourself constant positivity. It helps for you to change that around. And so now you've replaced all of that negativity with something positive. Even I realized down to the music that you listen to, yo, like, I love trap music. I ain't gonna lie. I love gospel and I love trap music. That's your girl. But at the same time, I have to sometimes take a step back, because I'm like, you know what? I can't feed this into my spirit on a regular basis, because when I was listening to all of that on a regular basis, I was mean. I was real mean. And I didn't care. Like, my attitude was like real jacked up, and I didn't care. And so I've learned to guard my ear gates a little bit more, because it really messes with your mood. Like, when you listening to stuff that has like a lot of violence, and I know people will probably be like, nah, yeah, like, watch your mood. For if you do this for 1 week, hello, you go without listening to the regular music that you listen to outside of probably gospel, or maybe something, maybe try a little R&B. If you're into jazz, listen to jazz. I found jazz to be real therapeutic. Classical music, I listen to that too. But try different types of music outside of hip-hop just for a week, and see how your mood changes. Like, actually just try it. Even if you do it over the weekend, just take a couple of days without that, and change like what you're feeding yourself mentally. Even maybe the shows that you watch. Maybe take a break from like reality TV. Take a break from like listening to gossip blogs. Some of that stuff makes you feel more depressed, more hurt, more negative than you know. Like, sometimes we're not even aware of how those things really make us feel. But that is something that I would say try that. I've done it, and it definitely has helped. Because I actually watch less TV than I was watching before. Like, a lot less. And I filter my shows. So I'm not watching reality TV, because it's got a lot of violence in it. It's got a lot of demeaning behaviors. And that's the other thing. I'm tired of seeing black women slapping each other, cussing each other out. Like, that's that'll be a no. Like, that's enough. It's too much of that. Like, we don't have time for that. I think that it's entertaining for people that love it. I used to love it, but after a while, that stuff, it was just too much. Like, y'all doing too much. Let's do something else. Maybe we should have more shows like what's the real estate one? I can't even think. Selling Tampa. Is that the one with the black women? I think that's the one. But more shows like that. Like, more shows showing black women doing something besides fighting and getting their bodies done. Like, can we do that? Anyway, I digress. hello. But back to what I was saying. So the other part is you've forgiven, you've released, you're getting to know who you are, you're reflecting, right? So upon reflection, and you realize your own toxic behaviors, you might have to dip back and ask for forgiveness yourself. And that's the truth. I've done it. I have done it. And the recipients of that were like, what? You asking for forgiveness? You admitting you did something wrong? Because I was super out to admit when I was wrong. And I realized that in order for you to and it's not even righting wrongs, it is being a better human being, being a better person. You sometimes have to humble yourself and ask for forgiveness. You sometimes have to be like, you know what, I did not treat you the best. I did not talk to you the best way. Maybe, I just wasn't the best. Like, you sometimes have to admit that. Like, we are not always our best. So apologizing will go a long way. And sometimes that's what people need to hear. And it will also stop or help to stop those people that you've hurt from creating a cycle where they turn around and hurt other people. Because that pain and that survival, in survival mode, I should say, it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. Because once you hurt somebody, hello, then they'll turn around and hurt somebody. And then that person will turn around and hurt somebody. And it just keep going around and around. And then you wondering why people are out here having, because I know I was talking to one of my friends and he was like, all these chicks, they cheating, they doing this, they doing that. Men cheat. We know men cheat. Stop the madness. Nah, but these chicks, they be, trying to get your money and I said, well, who hurt her? A lot of the times people are this way, not because they just want to be selfish, but because they have really been hurt. And that's the only way they know to be. They like, if I can't trust you, then let me just get something out of this. There are a lot of people like that. I'm not leaving here empty-handed because I done been hurt one too many times. It's a lot of women like that. And I know for sure it's a lot of men like that. Why are men bed hopping without commitments? Because their girlfriend hurt them in the 3rd grade, so now all of a sudden they can't commit to nobody. It's a lot of that. Be real with yourself. Let's be real. Your first love did a number on you. Now you out here can't love right, can't get it right. And you are in survival mode. You done been hurt. Women, you've been hurt. A man did not commit to you, or whatever the case may be. I'm trying to think of a scenario while I'm saying this, because there are some conversations that I've had with younger women. They're like in their early 20s, and the stuff that they have said, and I be looking like sometimes, I'm gonna tell you, when I go to the store or when I'm out, I be looking like, why y'all want to talk to me? I ain't gonna lie. I be minding my business. And then someone would have a random conversation with me and be telling their whole life story, and I'm just be standing there like, wow. But then I had to ask God, I'm like, okay, what you want me to say? Because this happened for a reason. Before, I would be like, oh, okay, and okay, have a nice day. But I've learned that maybe God sent me to say something to them is the reason why they telling me this. So your girl done been doing some work, okay? But the type of things that they have said about the guys that they dated and the stuff, like, they have been done dirty. It's some whole crazy types of situations that a lot of women are not saying publicly. They're hiding it behind closed doors. They're internalizing, and they're in survival mode. So when y'all get a hold of these women and they out here acting like niggas, and this is not their innate character, like, this is not a part of who they are. Like, they wasn't tomboys growing up, or they wasn't, whatever. They didn't hang around boys, or whatever the case may be. However, but this is something that they learned from the guys that hurt them. And some of them situations, I could, like, I had my mask on, but my mouth was hanging open, because it's some women that have been through a lot of stuff, man. Like, you would not believe. So they just surviving, and like, everybody in survival mode. Hello. So we have to actually look at people a different way. If nothing else has taught us anything about this pandemic, but to have more humanity, like see people the way we want to be seen, basically. Like, yeah. If you want people to see you for the person that you are, be gentle with you for the pain that you've been through. You got to do the same thing, because you're not going to get that. If you don't put that out there, you're not going to get that at all. So that's one thing that, if any lesson is taken from this pandemic, I think that seeing people and being gentle with people is really necessary, because everybody at this point is fragile. There are so many people going through so many situations. It's not even funny. People have lost people back to back. People are dealing with health scares, just different situations. During the pandemic, a lot of people had dealt with physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. And these people are not talking about this. So we need to be more gentle with people in their situations. And I know that some people will be like, okay, I don't care. This is not for you. This is for those who want to change, that want to get to be different and to get the stuff that they deserve. Because when you start to do things differently and you start to treat people differently, it comes back. And when it comes back, you are truly blessed. I kid you not. Like, you really are. You will receive blessings out of nowhere when you treating people correctly. You really need to treat people the way you want to be treated. But back to what I was saying. Hello. So forgiveness. Sometimes you have to ask for forgiveness, and it will really make them feel like, okay, this person, they kind of different. They doing things a little bit differently. It may make some people respect you. It may make some people even look at themselves once you have done that. So don't dismiss saying, look, I apologize for showing my butt. I apologize for mishandling you. So then, like I was saying before, to notate this, but to jot down those instances and then look at those behaviors, look at those things, and think about what you would have done differently. Like, now that you're aware of where you are, where you're trying to be, what you want your outcome to be, you need to write down what you would do differently. I've done that. And knowing what I know today, I would have done a whole lot of things differently. And I have apologized for things that I've done. I have made a conscious decision to just be different, because time is not waiting for nobody. Like, we already know there's people leaving out of here left and right. We don't have time to be bound, to be living locked up, not thriving. Like, we don't have time for that. We don't have time to just be sitting and sulking about what has happened to us, because where is that gonna get you? No closer to the vision that you have for yourself, no closer to your goals, no closer to anything. You're gonna be in that same mode and be stuck just like you were stuck before. So this is really a part of doing the work. Like, you need to do the work so you can be better and thrive, like, for real. So the other part is envisioning. So I talked about learning who you are, right? But envisioning the other side of where you want to be. We know where you are. We already know where you've been through, right? You already looked at that. You already have assessed, okay, this is what I've been through. This is where I am today. So, hello. So, now envision yourself on the other side of that thing. You've already forgiven. You've asked for forgiveness. What's on the other side of that? You being happy and healed. You being the best version of yourself. Replacing all that stuff with positivity. And when those negative thoughts, when I said that I do affirmations, when I tell you, there have been times where I had negative thoughts like, man, am I really, like, doing what I should be doing? Or, sometimes I second guess myself. And then I get checked like, girl, yeah, what you thought this was? like, yes, you were placed here to do X, Y, and Z. Like, when you are constantly replacing those negative thoughts with something positive, those positive thoughts will come up. When you're doing them affirmations, and I write down my affirmations, I got affirmations written on my board and my notebook everywhere. Yeah, affirmations. That, and also having a relationship with God. When I tell you, God will tell you who you are in those moments where you think that you don't deserve certain things, where you are feeling like you're not really ready for whatever it is. You've gotten an opportunity, but you like, man, am I really ready for this opportunity? Or you trying to start something and you like, nah, hello. maybe I'm not ready to start this, or maybe I'm not ready to go to back to school, and maybe I'm not ready to start my business. Maybe I'm not ready to, do whatever it is. You fill in your blanks. But when those things pop in your head and you got a relationship with God, he gonna tell you, like, look, this is who you are. He is gonna tell you who you are and what he has equipped you with. He will show you, look, you done got through this, boom, this, what? Oh, you was made for that opportunity. You was made for this. You was made for that. Like, whatever it is, you was made for it. So, you ain't got time to be second guessing yourself. It will happen though, but you can't stay stuck there. You got to think of them positive things. If you have a relationship with God, talk to God and he will reaffirm you. I kid you not. Every single time. So once you have practiced this every day, and I say every day, so I'm going to tell you what I do. And I've said this on other lives that I've had. I pray in the morning and I do my affirmations after my prayer and my scripture time. And I have made it a habit. Every morning when that alarm clock goes off, I pray. After I pray, I open my Bible. I got the Bible app on my phone, but I also have a Bible up there. But, crack either one open. And it's a lot of times where a scripture, I would just fall upon a scripture that I actually needed. This has been happening like clockwork. And I'm like, wow, I really needed that. And then after that, I even say, God, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. After I have read those scriptures, I do go into gratitude right before my affirmations. I will say that. I will say I'm grateful for a whole lot of stuff. I be saying I'm grateful for 10, 15 minutes, okay? And then I go into my affirmations with my I am. And once you say those I am statements, them I am statements really, really work. You can't say, oh, I want to be this. I want to be better. I want to be, bold. I want to be confident. You got to say, I am bold. I am confident. I am wise. I am, you fill in your blanks, but you got to say I am healthy. I make good decisions. These are all active statements. When you say those are active statements, and that stuff will come back to you when you practice that every day and you make it a habit and you're being more intentional about your happiness. You won't spend time in a negative mindset. You won't even allow people to bring you down to a negative mindset. You be like, you know what? I don't have time for that. You will realize that you won't be entertaining a whole lot of foolishness because you don't have time for that. You will realize that you don't have time for a whole lot of stuff once you're intentional about your happiness. So I'm telling you, you will stop taking people's phone calls. You would, if anything disturbs your peace, you ain't going. That is exactly how you will wind up being. I'm not saying to be closed off and by yourself, but I'm saying when people are intentionally, being negative, disturbing your peace, coming with all of the drama, all of the gossip, all of the everything, you will be like, you know what? Can't really have that conversation. Got a few things I gotta do. I'll talk to you later. You might have to hit them with that one because I'm good for that one. You know what? I got some things that I gotta do. I'll talk to you later. You have a great day because you ain't got time. That when you start entertaining other people and they nonsense, you will realize that they will be pulling on your mood so bad. You would have been up here, and next thing you know, you down here. Now you got to go back, pray, do some affirmations, all that other stuff, like, because they done pulled you down with all that nonsense, they drama and all. Like, you ain't got time for that. You ain't got time for that. We in thriving season. We are no longer surviving. We are no longer entertaining things that do not serve a purpose. You have to be intentional about your purpose. If you don't know your purpose, you need to go pray, seek God, whatever you need to do. But you got to find what your purpose is. If it's to motivate others, you find that you do that on a consistent basis without, it doesn't take no effort to do it. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do. You find that you teach people and you do that on a consistent basis. You love teaching, people how to do stuff. Hello. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do. But being intentional about being happier and operating in your purpose should be your goal for your thriving season. Because we want to thrive for the rest of our lives. You're going to have things that you're going to deal with, but when you're practicing being intentional about your happiness, those things that you have been through will not take hold of you the way that it did when you weren't intentional, when you was just going and surviving and out here being reckless about, how you was treating people or how you was handling things based on something that you've been through. Like, you will no longer operate that way, because you like, you know what? No. Yeah, I went through this, but maybe that was to teach me a lesson. Maybe I was supposed to learn something from this. Okay, that job didn't come through like I thought it was, so maybe that ain't what God want me to be. Maybe he got something else for me. You will start looking at stuff so much differently when you are intentional about your happiness, and when you are doing the actual work. You will realize that some of the things that you took offense to wasn't even anything worth taking offense to. Sometimes we take offense to stuff because we are in survival mode and we don't even realize it. Like, we be on the defense. Maybe they trying to hurt me because they said X, Y, and Z. Low key, they could have been criticizing you because they like, maybe you could do better. Maybe they like, okay, I see what you got going on, but you can do better. You can be better. And sometimes people take that and they be like, oh, y'all hating on me. And that may not even be it. They might just be like, it's time for you to elevate. That ain't the only thing you could do. That's not the only avenue you could take. Maybe it's something else you should think about or consider. Sometimes we be taking stuff the wrong way when we in surviving mode. But like I said before, spend time getting to know you. Figure out those things that you like to do. Once you're more intentional about your happiness, then you like, okay, I want to spend time with myself. Let me take myself to the show. Let me explore. Hey, maybe you wanted to go rock climbing. I don't know. Explore that. Maybe you wanted to go, kayaking, skydiving. I don't know. You fill your blanks then. But maybe this was something at one point that you thought was exciting, but then you was like, nah, that seemed crazy. Go do it. Why not? That's a part of your happiness. That's a part of you. That's a part of what might set you free from some things. Maybe you need that. Maybe that's something that will feel so exhilarating that it really shifts your mindset and makes you want to do more things. Sometimes you need that. Rediscover yourself all over again. And then also realize that you are constantly changing and evolving. We do not stay the same. Hello. And I wish people would stop thinking that we are the same, that you are the same all the time. You're not. You're not the same person that you were when you were 5, 15, 25, 30, 40. If you're 60, you wasn't the same person that's 50. You are constantly changing and evolving. So you have to constantly take time to be alone and get to discover yourself. Like, find out what your likes or dislikes, because sometimes something that you did not require before might be a requirement for you now. Sometimes things that were a requirement before may not be so important right now. So you got to find out what it is that you like or dislike or whatever. Focus more on the likes than the dislikes, because when you focus on your likes, it makes you happier. It makes you freer. It's a lot of people that focus on what they don't want, and then you wind up attracting what you don't want because you so focused on it. Some of y'all, that's why these dating situations be jacked up, because people be so focused on what they don't want that they not focused on what they do want, or focused on what they had that was bad instead of what they want that is good. Sometimes you got to jot that stuff down. Jot down what type of mate you want, what type of relationship that'll look like, what type of communication y'all gonna have, what types of things that you might enjoy. Hello. If you want to have kids, what kind of relationship do you want with your kids? Maybe you don't want a relationship, the same type of relationship you and your parents had. Maybe you want something different. Maybe you want a parent different. Maybe you want more communication. Write those things down. And become more intentional about that. Focusing on what you want. You want to be a better parent. You want to be a better student. Maybe you're in school. Maybe you done slacked off. Maybe your grades are not where they should be. Don't focus on the quote unquote bad grades, because a lot of times, you get disinterested because maybe you don't understand what's going on, or you're having a hard time, just comprehending whatever the assignment is. So sometimes you might need other tools or resources to help you, but don't focus on the negative part, because a lot of times we'll get into I'm not good in this subject, I'm not good with this because I didn't pass it, or I got this grade, or whatever. And this is for people that are in school, kids, because I see my goddaughter is on here. So for that age group, those ones, don't focus on where you went wrong at. Focus on what the outcome is. So if you want a better grade, how are you gonna get that better grade? You want to graduate with honors, figure out the path that you need to take in order to graduate with honors. That type of stuff. Focus on the positives. What your next steps would be. If you going to college, how are you going to get there? Don't focus on the negative stuff. For those that are making career changes, don't focus on what didn't work before. So you made a career change before and you hated it, it sucked, whatever. Don't focus on that part. Focus on, okay, so I want to be here. I want to be, an IT specialist. I want to be some type of technician. I want to be whatever it is. You fill in your blanks, but do what you need to do to get that goal. Don't look at what didn't work, because when you start focusing on that negative, you get sucked in, and then it's not gonna work. Like you're not gonna be thriving. You're gonna be like, you're gonna start doubting yourself. We ain't doing that. We don't have time for that. Hello. So I know that all of the things that I said seems like work. It is work. Being a human being is work. There's so many things that we have to focus on. We got to focus on health. We got to focus on finances. We got to focus on a whole gang of stuff. But your healing journey, your emotional stability is most important, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. I never understood that before, but I definitely understand that today. Your mental your emotional, your spiritual journey, helps you to conquer those big tasks, to conquer your day. All of that together helps you to be a healthier version of yourself, to be a happier version of yourself. And then in the end, it'll be worth it, because you will be able to love better. You will be able to parent better. You will be able to be a better employee if that's what you want to be. If you want to be a better student, that's what you'll be. If you want to be a better boss, that's what you'll be. Whatever it is that you want to be better in, because you have done the healing to become happier, to become emotionally stable, you will be better in that. Just because something did not work is not the final say. It is not the end all. Like, it's not. Start looking at things like, maybe that wasn't meant for me. Maybe God has something better. Or maybe that was a lesson I was supposed to learn. But all of that helps you to put things in perspective and have peace of mind, so that your mind is not reeling over old situations, old things. And then you will have a better understanding of how you need to move going forward. So, and like I said, all of these things I've done because it's helped me to put things that I have done into perspective. Like when I was going through my hurt season, where I didn't care about who I hurt, like all of that stuff. My 20s was pretty much spent surviving. Like, I'm gonna be honest, super was. A part of me does wish I could redo my 20s, because I would have did so many things differently. But it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about myself. And I have learned to maneuver differently, even in relationships. Like, I take stuff on a case-by-case basis. Like, we not taking old situations from something somebody else did into a new situation. I never really been one to do that, but I would look at people sideways, like, okay, you know, maybe y'all need to go on, because I'm not about to do that. I will run away. I would say that I would run away. So, but I have set boundaries that have helped me to have more peace. And anything that interrupts my progress, I am not going. Hello. So these are things that I have done, and I feel like this is necessary for others, even talking to other people and walking them through this same stuff. That's why I felt like this was a live to do, because there are a lot of people that are in survival mode and operating in survival mode. They are not being the best version of themselves because they feel like they're locked up from things that other people have done to them. You have to forgive them. You have to forgive for the part that you play, because a lot of times we done played a part too. And I talked about this. So when I put this live on my YouTube channel, Crown Convos with Tiana and Michelle, you can go back and you'll be able to see everything that I've said. But all of these things, I have asked for forgiveness, and it has helped me to analyze certain parts of me. So all of these things that I'm telling you is not anything that I have not done myself. This is nothing that I have not, told to people that were in my circle, even people that I didn't know. Like, I've already had these conversations, and I just felt like this was necessary, because it's time for everybody to stop surviving and get to thriving. Like, for real. Life is too short to be locked up, to be worried about other folks and their dysfunctions. Figure out your own and work through your own. And get on the other side of that thing, because on the other side of that thing is joy, is peace, is happiness, is fulfillment, is self-love, which in turn you will love other people differently. You will love your kids differently, your mama differently, your whoever. You will learn how to just approach everything differently. It won't be from a place of hurt. So with that, the other part is last part, I'm sorry, remember that you will be tested when you are doing something different. That just hit me. Okay. When you are doing something different, you will be tested. You might go through a series of tests, but you will be tested, and the test is to come to make you, one, it's to check to see what you really about. Are you really walking the walk that you saying? Are you really, talking that talk and walking that walk together? Like, you really about that? Let's see. You gonna be tested. And when you get to a point where you are completely in your happiness and your healing, you'll recognize the test. Yo, I would tell you, I was tested last week. And I was just like, with this person, this was a new person that was trying to get to know me. And I was just like, okay, you pushing my buttons. I'm being tested. Okay, I see you. Okay, you know what? I don't have time for this. I just don't have time, because you want to cause confusion. God is not the author of confusion, so who sent you? I literally said that out of my mouth. Who sent you? Who sent you? Because you doing too much, bro. You doing too much. Nobody got time. You have a good one. I don't have time for whatever this nonsense is that you got flowing out your mouth. And it was, the crazy part is, it was a basic conversation. And because the conversation was about his belief versus my belief. And then I was just like, well, we're going to agree to disagree. Let's just drop it. He came with a whole lot of other stuff. I was done. I was just like, why are we still talking about this? And the way that you're coming is so sideways. It wasn't even necessary. Like, some people are like that. They just so extra because they had their own stuff going on. And I was just like, I didn't even say a word. I'm like, okay. In my mind, I didn't say nothing. The messages I was flowing through was via text. The initial conversation was over the phone. And I was just like, I'm going to just let them texts flow through. Because you just feel how you feel, and that's fine. But who sent you? Because you trying to get a rise out of me, and I'm not going to let you get a rise out of me. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not at that place. So, you have a good life, sir. So I'm not going there. I am so in my peace. I just do not have time. I just don't have time to be entertaining no nonsense. So, anyways, you will be tested. Recognize those tests and continue to do your work. Hello. But with that is the conversation. I thought you all was going to have something to say, but nobody chimed in. So, hopefully next week's conversation you all will chime in. I'm going to come on Facebook live now. Before, I think it was because of my sound. like, I was having some sound issues when I was coming on Facebook and on Instagram, because I'm actually on both right now. So hopefully the sound is not messed up, but it was before when I was doing my lives last year. So that's why I stopped coming on Facebook doing the lives. But I guess I'm going to return to Facebook doing these lives every Thursday. But with that, you all have a good night. You continue to do the work, you heal, and it is your thriving season. Take that with you. Post that somewhere. Get your affirmations. Say your I am statements. Don't let these people out here disturb your peace, because they not in their thriving season yet. You can't make nobody else heal. They'll heal when they ready. So you all have a good night. Bye.